You know, I want conservatism to be forefront. I want freedom. I want liberty. I want people who are influencing two traditional values and faith to be forefront when anyone is speaking to a camera. However, I feel like we have been so infiltrated on the right. Today we're going to discuss Candace and some of the things she said, and how no matter if you like her or not, no matter if you believe her or not, and I personally don't, when it comes to some of the things with Charlie, she is single-handedly hurting TPUSA. Now, you can believe her conspiracy theories. She has not shown actual proof. It's been emails from random people. But today we're going to discuss how she is hurting the right and hurting conservatism and hurting, really, Charlie Kirk's legacy. It's heartbreaking to me because, to me, such an impactful individual, to me, his legacy is getting tarnished each and every day. We're going to discuss that because what she just said should shock everyone. And to be honest with you, it should let everyone realize. And even some people that were on her side are now starting to pull against her. Wait till you hear what we talk about. Now, also, we're going to discuss today AI, what Sam Altman said and what Elon Musk said about AI, about where it's actually at, how we think it's not evolved enough. Sam Altman said, wait, hold on. You're going to see that it's actually smarter than most people that's going to school for 8 to 10 to 12 years to become doctors, lawyers. He says, wait till you see what it's doing. What this is going to do is just basically take the fact of working away, and then what's going to happen after that. We all know it's not going to be great utopian. It's going to be probably dystopian, living under government's thumb. Wait till you see the numbers of who truly is a minority in the world when it comes to Christianity and the Caucasian race, the European race. What's actually happening? We're going to discuss some of the things that Elon Musk shared, but also how Matt Walsh even brought attention to it, that if we're not careful, there will be no white race anymore. And we're allowing for the control of bad players to come over us. And wait till you hear what we've been talking about, the Muslims taking over. It's happening right before our very eyes. And then we're going to wrap it up with something that's happening with these narco boats getting blasted. Pete Hegseth, this word just started it. Now you have former CIA directors, Leon Panetta. You have all these Democratic senators who are worried more about those narco boats than they are worried about the people of the United States. Who actually cares for you? It's amazing that they care more about illegal immigrants and the narco boats, the drug boats that's coming to America, than Americans. We'll talk about all that. Let's dive in. Hey guys, welcome to our channel. Thank you so very much for being here today. Our goal is to hopefully talk through things that's going on in our world and look at it in a perspective that is, first of all, spiritually God-minded, because we want to look at it in the way that God intends, but also conservatives. And we need to see what's common sense, what is normal, because we are living in a chaotic world. What helps us raise our families better? That's the key when it comes to talking about these stories. Now let's jump into these stories today. First, let's talk about this Candace situation. I was a huge Candace fan. I'm talking about years ago. I was one of those people that would say, she is going to be VP president one day. She is going to serve as a high-ranking conservative official. She is going to be the star of the conservative movement. She went through PragerU, went through, of course, the Daily Wire. She went through TPUSA. She had been the face of so many places. But ultimately, someone who has done so much and so good, Charlie, and to have a tragedy to happen to him. Now, I know this is a game to a lot of people. I know they love speaking, and that's, this is a money-making thing for a lot of people. And I look at Candace and say, maybe she's just doing it for clicks and giggles. I don't know, but lately, she has been a little off a rocker. Now, I don't mind her going over theories. I don't even mind her talking her opinion. That's the whole point of these things. I talk my opinion on here too, and she does it to a lot bigger audience than I do. But when we start destroying the movements, she's been targeting Jack Hibbs. Jack Hibbs is one of the best ministers that's part of the Calvary Chapel movement. That's doing God's work. She degrades the wife of Charlie. She degrades his best friend. She degrades the whole group. Now, does that mean everybody is perfect, everybody's doing great through any foundation, even TPUSA? Probably not. But they are doing a world of good, and Charlie supported it. There's nothing confounding that. Tim Pool just came out and said the same thing. Said, I supported Candace, but now I'm getting to the point where I cannot support this anymore. We are losing our minds if we believe that these intelligence groups, along with his wife and their organization, took him. She said, he said, there's been no proof other than anonymous emails and these anonymous sources. He said, we've lost what truly is happening, and what we're doing is we're destroying the legacy of a man who was doing God's will, who was building a conservative coalition, and now we've seen both of those things falter, all because of one person. Well, if it doesn't surprise you, she just came out with the French Connection and all that. Okay, then she ties herself back into it, which is very strange. But you cannot tell me that she truly believes that Erica had anything to do with this, or that Andrew Colvin, that his main staff, his main people around him had something to do with it. Please, stop believing that. This is what shocked me more than anything. Now she wants to see them destroyed. So Charlie made money off this. We know that. This was Charlie's business. It's what he did for a living. Now she is basically telling everyone, donors, to pull their money back, ask for demand refunds. Now, for a lot of people, they think she's crazy, but she has a very big following. Now, again, granted, if you like her or not, if you believe her opinions or not, that's for you to decide. But now she is going to take the livelihood from the 2 kids and the wife of the one that she so-called cared for. This is not normal. What I've noticed, if you've noticed, all these people that's pushing against Israel, all these what we consider woke right. Have you noticed the Rob Smiths, some of the other influencers, Tucker Carlson, all these people are starting to go to Qatar and see these beauties and talk about the wonderful things of these other places such as Qatar and Abu Dhabi and United Arab Emirates. What they're doing is slowly pandering to you and using things to ultimately turn you against what we would consider modern day traditional conservative Southern roots Christianity, which would support Christian doctrine and movement in Israel. I believe the scary thing is that Charlie's legacy will be destroyed all because these people that were considered quote unquote friends of his, and they're absolutely destroying the movement. I honestly believe we're seeing wolves in sheep clothing. You don't have to believe me. I'm not saying that I like Lindsey Graham and all these other people that are on the rhino side either. I'm just saying I think we need to make sure that we're thinking correctly to say, let's just look at everything in a perspective that's not propaganda, that's not someone trying to sway me. And if we started doing our research, I think we're going to realize, and if you watch, I have watched tons of content of Charlie's, and it's amazing how he has got more hours on camera than anyone in history. Any person in history, they said Charlie has more time on camera than any martyr, anyone who had to represent himself and died for what he believed in. And yet, she's telling you something completely opposite than what he has always said in front of cameras. I hope you're not believing her, because I'm scared if you keep believing this, she's going to turn the conservative movement upside down. She's already pulled people away from Trump. She's already kind of hurt and dismantled TPUSA. The question is, what's next, and who is she going to destroy? Even down to his family and children. And the purpose I want to bring that up for is not because I want to bring anything against her or Tucker or any of these people. They have some wise things, and they talk some great things when it comes to conservatism and traditionalism and on the right. But I think because what we lost with Charlie was a coalition that he kept the glue together to make this MAGA base, where we didn't all get along with everything, but he built this coalition that we started believing in. And sadly, I think what we didn't realize is how big of an impact Charlie really was to the conservative movement, traditional movement, MAGA movement, Trump movement, and all. It was Charlie. And the last thing we should be doing is tearing that down. And I'm scared that's what she's doing. I mean, for instance, Tim Pool again says, I'm getting upset because what she's doing this all for money herself, at the same time trying to bankrupt Charlie and his family, Charlie's legacy. What Charlie built, and he built it, she is trying to destroy. It's just something to think about. Now let's jump into another story. I want to bring this story up because this is Going on to, again, something that we need to pay attention to because I believe the dangers are right in front of us. I want you to listen to what Sam Altman just said, and this kind of goes along with some of the risks that we're facing over, I believe, the next coming 5 years when it comes to AI, and also when it comes to jobs and debt and the dangers of new money and all, because it all kind of goes together. I want you to listen to this. Sam Altman on Fox News just admitted what most tech CEOs won't say out loud. AI is already diagnosing diseases doctors couldn't. Kids are getting free world-class tutors that doesn't need actually people anymore. It's all computer-based. Small businesses are punching away and trying to get away from employment and starting to use AI. The downside, millions of jobs will be lost. State-level cyber weapons are now trivial to build, but now it gives the capabilities to governments to build the most capable weapons to take over its people. If China and other leapfrog the U.S., it means national security disasters for our grid, for our computer systems, and virus loads coming into America. It says some jobs will go away entirely, adversaries will come, and national security issues will happen. AI is good, but can be used for so much wrong. Now think about what he just said. Now I want to read another comment from what's been going on with these social media platforms I talked a little bit about yesterday. The more that we allow for social media to have our data, the more we allow for virtual reality to have our data, the more we allow for Real ID, which TSA and the government just backed, the more we allow for Apple to do the digital ID, the more we allow for that, the more that AI is getting information of ours. We read the story yesterday about December 16 about how Meta is going to make you opt out, and if you don't automatically go to the desktop and opt out by then, they're going to be able to use all your information, your private messages, your private pictures, everything private about your life, and put it into their AI schematics. Now, you hadn't heard much about it, but you better opt out. Well, guess what? Snapchat and some of the other platforms are doing the same thing. Crypto wallets and crypto exchanges have done the same thing. My mother just got an acknowledgement from a credit card company. She uses credit cards for Christmas where she orders and then pays it off like a debit card, but it scares her to put her debit card information all across the world. Here's the thing. There was this new AI tool that this credit card company was using to where they wanted to scan her face, her biometrics, and do a full profile left and right. And she wouldn't do it, of course. So she could not use that credit card anymore. Do you know that NSA, do you know the TSA, when you're flying, they're going to charge you more and tax you more for not having a real ID? Did you know that Snapchat now and Meta platforms, that if they cannot recognize you, they want to quote-unquote verify your age, instead of just getting you putting in your birth date, which I know can be falsified. They want to see your driver's license front and back. They want you to do a facial scan, and they want you to get as close to the camera as possible. Now, do you think that that's using it for good? And remember what I just said. AI is fixing to use all that information to place into their metrics to decide what's best for you and for America. Now, if we hear the main guy, one of the biggest players, the billionaires who built a bunker away from America, away from civilization, that says that AI could be a great thing, and it already is a great thing, is actually outperforming doctors, lawyers, and engineers. If he's building bunkers and telling you the dangers of national security and how it could really be used in the wrong way, then I think we should heed that warning. I want you to listen to what Snapchat just said. It says, Snapchat just flipped and set to where it can train its AI with every aspect of your snaps, face, voice, in anything you choose to do. Now, I don't do Snapchat. I know it's a dangerous thing for a lot of children and kids and people. But the whole purpose of that, I thought, was to have something snapped or chatted, and then it goes away automatically. Well, that's not the case. Discord, Messenger apps, all this stuff is going to be used. Every platform has said they're going to start using AI to get information of yours, using all this to, quote-unquote, make it better and safer for you. Well, what does it mean when you hear safe and effective? What does it mean when you hear we're going to do this for your security and your safety? Is it necessarily what we thought it was when we heard those terms before? What we realized is sometimes our safety means control. And I think we're seeing those signs right now. This kind of leads me to another story of what Matt Walsh has been sharing, what Elon Musk has been sharing, is that we're actually seeing the great replacement actually happen right before our eyes. He said not just with jobs, not just with work, not just with, the Democrats being more happy to support narco-terrorists and illegal immigrants other than the true conservatives or the true Americans or the true, Christian Americans, the people that's been here the longest. They don't care for that. Well, that's happening right before our eyes. So when we talk about this AI situation, we talk about the dangers of losing jobs, we talk about the dangers of having government intervention in our life. It seems like government's intervention in our life actually has made it worse, but ultimately, what is government trying to do? Are they, quote unquote, trying to replace us with people they can control? What I've learned is, it says the white conservative Christian that pushes for freedom is more dangerous to the government than any other race in the world. Joe Biden said that the white American Christian or conservative is the most dangerous person in the world. Merrick Garland said the same thing. Now, why would they say that? Because they believe that most of Americans believe in freedom and traditional values. They believe in their First and Second Amendment rights. Well, lately you've seen a major replacement. Matt Walsh is bringing attention to it. Let me show you what that's been shared. It says, Matt Walsh sounds alarmed that the great replacement is actually happening. And it's not just about jobs. It's not just about freedom. It's truly about the white person, because ultimately if you can get rid of them, then you can get rid of freedom and conservatism, and you'll have a lot more control, because every other group, you can look at graphs, every other group, illegal immigrants, even immigrants that are legalized here, every other race is more dependent on the government than the white race. I want you to look at this map, and it says white Europeans or Caucasians make up only 8% of the globe. It says it's amazing how you hear the white race always say, we have to take care of the minorities. It says if we really understood what we're saying is truly that the white or the Caucasian or the European, they're actually a minority in the world right now. It says just 100 years ago, whites were 35% of the planet, which is still a minority. But it says now it's only 8% of the planet. It says that by 10 to 15 years, there will hardly be any Europeans or white individuals if they don't start actually replacing their race. This is from Mario Nafal, and it was shared by Elon Musk. It says, white fertility collapsed. It says the rest of the planet didn't. Every other group, especially Muslims, have procreated and made more of their population boom, where the white Christian has not. We have to be careful of this, because what we're going to see is the danger of what we've worked so hard for. And here's what I'm saying. Be careful. Listen to what I'm saying now. What did I just tell you that Joe Biden, that Merrick Garland, that a lot of these other Democrats have said, is that the white conservative Christian is the most dangerous person. Are we now? I think what they should say, and here's what they're actually saying, the white Christian conservative still loves freedom and independence, and that's not good for the bureaucracy and the establishment. So therefore, we're going to make sure that we put pressure on them, because what we can do is replace them with these other individuals, these immigrants, these illegal immigrants, these legal immigrants, and ultimately every one of them, over 55 to 65% of people that are brought in, legal or illegal, is on the government dole. So almost 2/3, half to 2/3 are on the government's dependency list, whereas whites don't make up nearly that when it comes to per capita. So what is the real goal? And so I go back to the Democrats and the senators and the former CI Director Panetta. They're all up in arms about what Pete Hegseth and Trump is doing with the narco-terrorists. I've heard Mark Kelly and these Democratic leaders more upset about taking benefits away from people who are not here legally and the narco-terrorist boats. They've been more upset about that than babies in the womb, than families who are American. Doesn't matter what color they are. You would think that they would want to care for the Americans first, right? Both organizations, both parties, you would think that they would focus on American policies, American people, and American families. And instead, they're more up in arms about the people that are here illegally and also the narco-terrorists. If we believe that more government in our lives is better, think about these conversations, Because so far, what we've realized is every time we put more of them in our life, the safe and effective actually doesn't help us. It actually just puts control over us. And the more we believe that they can do, the more they will do and take over. And I believe AI is going to be a big part of that. And I believe what Sam Altman, even though I don't like the guy, I don't trust the guy, I believe he's looking for a seat at the table because he knows the dangers that we're going to be facing. And this kind of goes along. We'll kind of finish it here. This is from Jacob Frey, again, Minneapolis mayor. Again, I feel like Minneapolis, New York City, they're all kind of too far gone, Seattle, and so forth. But he says, there's no other choice. It's time to send in the military. He says this, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey just declared open defiance of our police department, is now heavily staffed with Somali officers, and we will refuse federal governments to come in. We refuse ICE. We refuse anyone that Trump puts here. We will openly defy them. When we start hearing this kind of talk, that this man is willing to stand up for the Somalis and the illegal immigrants and people that are non-American, I think it goes back to the replacement thing. This is what weak Americans look like. And this is the kind of people that will lead us down a road of destruction. You may not like Trump. You may not like Pete Buttigieg. You may not think that they're doing a great job, but so far I've not seen any politician in the last 50 to 60 years actually try to work to help Americans to get back on their feet. Now, could Trump do more? Could this administration do more? Yeah, I would hope so. But I'll be honest with you. I don't believe our Senate, our Congress, our liberal cities, I don't believe any of them are going to work with President Trump. They may say it, but I don't think they actually are. It comes back down to you. How can you prepare your family? How can you take care of your family? How can you make sure that you're taking care of your home to face these things that we're going to face? Canada is pulling their 2A rights back. UK has already done that. We're seeing the great replacement right before our very eyes. We have new reports of showing that meat is going to skyrocket. There's new reports that cities are starting to go up on sewage pricing and water pricing and electrical pricing. What does that do? That makes people more dependent on the government because they can't afford typical cost of living. You know, if you go and do a study right now, just go and say gas prices across America. Did you know that every state that's conservative has price dropped? But every state that's liberal that doesn't like Trump, somehow their gas prices haven't went down. Is it the fact that they're actually trying to help American people, or are they wanting to hurt Trump that much that they want it to look bad on him? Sometimes I think that these cities, these liberal states, these areas are wanting it to be bad so then they can use it to benefit them in next election. And actually they're losing out on the fact of really taking care of their people. Guys, ending this video, I just want you to focus on truth, common sense, and let's just think, okay, if we need to be independent and believe in freedom, then sometimes we have to take that upon ourselves to take responsibility to do better with money, to do better with spending, to do better with wants and needs, to do better with our children, to teach them and admonish them in the Lord, to make sure their education is about things that should be in education, not indoctrination. Just like I told a student the other day, there was a kid saying he was going to go be an engineer, and I said, well, look, I'm not saying don't, but you're going to invest $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year into this degree that so far AI is pretty much taken over. Is that the smartest thing when I have a nephew who's probably making upwards of 6 figures just simply welding? See, sometimes we have to think, how can I train these children? How can I train people better to say, if we're seeing these adversities, we're seeing these problems, we're seeing AI, we're seeing the problems with the dollar, we're seeing all this, instead of being reactive like most Americans, we have to be proactive and work towards making our independence, our freedom, our situation a lot better. And I go back to you and say, you know what? We can't fix all the problems in Washington, but what we can do is fix every problem, or most of the problems that we're facing day in and day out in our personal lives and our personal homes. Man, I want to raise my children different than the world. I want to do a job different than the world. I want to be different than the world. And then I can start impacting people. I think because then people are going to say, there's a difference there. I want what he's got, because what he's got is for some reason a whole lot better than what the government's telling me that we're supposed to be. It's not about replacement. It's about shining a light. And when you shine a light in the darkness, people are going to notice a difference. We have to be that difference, people. It can't be the Candaces. It can't be the Tucker Carlsons. To be honest with you, it can't even be the Washington elites and even Trump and the president. It's got to start back at home. That's how we fix all this in our homes. Guys, let me know your thoughts for today. God bless.